Keep It or Change Cars, the podcast brought to you by SA's most trusted online vehicle website, CHANGECARS. Welcome back to the Keep It or Change Cars podcast. You guys haven't seen me in a while because last week it was two old white men in the studio. Adam Ford was sitting where I'm sitting, and a very old man on my left-hand side, Michael Pashut, was sitting with it.
Keep up that introduction and you won't see you for a while.
So we got to bring in some color because the two old white men, obviously the podcast is not. You need some fire. And I'm back with a bang. And I'm young, guys. I'm sure my age, I'm 2 times younger. So if you take my age times it by 2, it's Michael Pashut's age. Then if you take my age and times it by 5, it's Adam Ford's age.
Incredible. And then also if you take the wisdom and divide it by 3.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, yeah.
Gotta have a comeback.
Gotta have a comeback. How are you, Mike?
I'm excellent. Have had an incredible week, a stressful week. Today I see you wearing a shirt with no writing on it. Normally you advertise something.
Yeah.
Plain Jane.
Today I'm plain. Why am I plain? Like, I didn't think of it like that, but now that Michael, you've said it, I normally wear like if the Suzuki thing or VW thing or...
Correct.
I need to get more t-shirts of brands that I like and then wear them to the podcast, actually.
So today I'm wearing pink for a reason. Who wears pink? Ladies. Today's podcast fundamentally is in honor, not of the weaker sex, because I will never say ladies are the weaker sex, but ladies are the sex that gets taken advantage of. And today we're going to talk about it specifically regarding Motus and all the entities. So pink in honor of ladies. Have you ever seen me wearing pink before?
No, maybe once before.
Really? Okay.
Maybe once before, but I don't think so.
But you're thinking I look dashing. What are you in today?
I'm in the BYD Shark 6, the bakkie.
Now, interesting, unbelievable vehicle. Never driven it.
Okay.
That thing is in a different league performance-wise, right or wrong?
Performance-wise.
More powerful than a Isuzu D-Max 1.9?
Yes, way. Times 2, if not 3.
What is that competing with?
That's competing with... Well, I say it competes with the Ford Ranger.
Okay.
Right? But because of the power it has, in terms of speed, it competes with the Ford Ranger Raptor.
Wow.
But not really. The Raptor, aside from speed, the Raptor is more of a car than what the BYD is. You can do a lot more. The Raptor is more versatile. You can go off-roading without no worries.
Right.
You do a lot more with the Raptor than you can do with the BYD. You got lockable diffs. You can make it rear-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, whereas the BYD is permanent all-wheel drive. So you can do a lot more, and the Raptor has a lot more features when you're off-roading than the BYD. But
a more complete package.
Yeah, more complete package. But in terms of power, if you're looking at like straight power, then definitely they do compete.
Fit and finish inside and feel?
Fit and finish inside, Ford is still better.
Really?
The BYD is good fit and finish because also Ford, even the Ranger Platinum, there's amazing fit and finish inside, especially the seats. So the BYD, I think, for me, it's on par with the Platinum. The Raptor just has that bit of more touch to it, especially towards the steering wheel. The steering wheel feels much better. You get the aluminium pedals as well, where the BYD doesn't have all those fanciness.
So if you take cell phone networks, Vodacom and MTN, they are the two standout.
100%.
Cell C, Telkom, anyone else is bit players. Why do I mention that? When it comes to bakkies, there's only 2 double cabs in this country, in my opinion. I'm not saying they're right, but they are in the debate. What are they? Only 2. There's a debate between. You either or. What are you?
This is a Ford Ranger and Hilux, Toyota Hilux.
100%. Navara, superb. Isuzu D-Max, I mentioned, superb. Triton, superb. Amarok, BYD, JAC, P-Series. But when there's a debate, we're talking to. So we'd love the audience to say, when they respond to any topic that we're doing, say, I'm a Ford fan, I'm a Toyota fan. And again, not being funny, we'd love to know what you like. It's well known that I don't like double cabs. I like them a little bit less than I did before because they're looking incredible. But I'd love to hear, when you comment on the podcast, who you support. Literally. Are you a Team Arsenal or Team Arsenal Reserves? I don't need an answer from you. Talking to the camera.
So yeah, that makes sense because I'm Team Ford because I like how it is. But I got to drive the Toyota, the Legend 55 towards the end of last year. And then I was like, Toyota makes sense. Like they have a winning formula there. Like that engine, it makes sense why they go with that engine all the time. That 2.8 GT6 is just an amazing one.
But that 2.8 GT6 today is in the Prado. It's in the Toyota Quantum. It's in the Fortuner.
Yeah.
Where else
Like,
is it?
I think Land Cruiser.
Hilux, Land Cruiser.
Fortuner. Yeah. It's good. It's quite there across board. Even in the new Toyota Hilux, it will be
Correct.
time this year.
But that's interesting because the new Hilux is exactly that. You think,
Yeah.
okay, wait a second, we're going to go up. They haven't changed it. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. But quickly getting back to the BYD, the acceleration. What is the strongest part of that car? Is it acceleration?
Acceleration.
And silent, obviously.
Silent. So that's where it's confusing. Because for me, speed and sound needs to play together. Like, so when I'm speeding, my car needs to be making a lot of noise, or I need to know that I'm speeding without having to look at the speed. Whereas with the BYD, you'll be doing illegal on the speed, and then you just see trees flying by, or then the car feels quick. When you look down, you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that I'm here. And then you have to slow down.
So one of the things that we're going to be doing at Zwartkops Raceway for the TV show All Things Motoring, or the YouTube version, is we're going to take 12 bakkies. That is my dream. Ranger, Amarok, Hilux, BYD, Navara, Isuzu, Triton, JAC, everybody welcome.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing a couple of tests. And Nicky's going to be aiming for second place. We're going to be aiming for the victory. Set your sights high, because there's 3 of us, remember?
Yes.
But
they get to choose a car then.
We're all going to get in every car, and we're going to put them, through different tests. Not only acceleration, it'll be braking, it'll be handling. Super, super excited.
Okay, that's interesting.
And now this weekend, something special?
Yes, very special. Big Dump Campfest.
To say that first word again, I've heard it before.
Big Dump, 100 VW.
Now, it's incredible how time flies. 2025, 2024, I was there. Absolutely superb. For the audience, what is VW Campfest?
So it's the biggest stance event in the country, I think. Yeah, definitely the biggest.
And it's not organized by Volkswagen themselves. It's organized by the fans, the followers.
It's not a VW SA event.
Right.
It's the people's event, basically. So they've been doing that for 17 years. This year is the 17th edition of Campfest. And then VW were part of it, then they stopped, and then they obviously back into it again now.
So are they supporting it this year?
Yes, but I don't know to what extent in terms of how they're supporting. I don't know monetary or cause. I know that I think in 2024, they had given the organizers and everything cars to drive at the event, so that they're moving around in VW vehicles. This year around, I don't know what they are going to be there. I just don't know to what capacity did they support the organizers.
So I remember in 2024, Martina Biena, you were there. I walked up and introduced myself, and I was like, who's this? I'm not going to be there this year, but Nicky is. So when he says, hi, it's Nicky from the CHANGECARS podcast, look around and he'll say, Michael's not here. In Warm Bars, Bella Bella?
Yes, Bella Bella Warm Bars. But yeah, that's basically where it is every year.
And we have to share. So normally we do the podcast around 3:30. It's 1 o'clock today.
On a Friday afternoon.
Correct, because you... Straight from here?
Yeah, straight from here. I have to leave, unfortunately.
Editing on the road, are you?
Yeah, I'm the editor on the road as well.
But I spoke about having the pink t-shirt. Today, we're going to talk in depth about Motus and every single aspect of Motus. The salary cuts, the entities like Auto Pedigree, like Midas, Hyundai, Kia, Renault. I can say to you openly that a good 30 to 40% of my everyday is dealing with a Motus-related entity.
Okay.
Something to behold. But we're going to save truly the best for last. I'm going to introduce a saying today. Have you ever heard the term modus operandi?
Yes, I have.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I've heard people say that a lot.
I could say modus operandi. It's the way they do things.
How they do things. Yes, sorry.
So we're going to introduce the modus operandi. It's unique, and my advice to everybody, don't copy it, because it's a recipe for failure.
And now, when you speak about Motus, I know how this whole thing started. It started with the salary cuts and also moved on to the Hyundai i10 scoring 0 and cap rating. And we need to emphasize that a lot. Like, because I'm seeing people still getting the Hyundai Grand i10 in my mind. I'm like, do you know that car is not safe? But that's a topic for...
That's a topic for today.
How
can you honestly buy a Hyundai Grand i10? Let's just reiterate one thing. How many cars in South Africa factually sold new have a 0 global NCAP? Only one.
It's the only one's the Hyundai.
You're buying it.
Yeah.
You've got other choices. We've said before, the car looks good. It goes good. No problem.
Looks good.
But God forbid a million times, you, your mom, your dad, your daughter, your son, anybody is in an accident in that car. It is terrible. You've got choices.
Yeah.
Am I still calling for this car to be removed from the roads?
Yes, I know you are. I know.
100%. And I can tell you again, and we're going to talk about it in detail, the banks, the insurance companies, you have been given a chance again to do the right thing. Vehicles that have been financed in the past, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
You deal with that. But the fact is, on the 6th of February, you are still allowing that car to be sold brand new. I don't want to use the word complicit because that sounds very harsh, but do the right thing. A person who doesn't buy a Hyundai Grand i10 and finance it through the bank, are they going to buy something else or are they going to catch the bus?
You're going to buy something on.
Nobody's losing any business.
Yeah.
Just Hyundai, who don't deserve to be selling that car, are going to be affected. So again, I implore you, banks, insurance companies, February the 6th, stop financing that death trap.
Just buy a Suzuki. Simple. Just buy Suzuki Swift, Suzuki Baleno. But if you want a car that, if you like being unsafe, buy the car that I drive. This is the City Golf.
Talking about the City Golf, and I think we touched on it on the show. That R1,000,000 City Golf with about 100 kilos.
Nah.
Sold, eh?
Really?
Sold. Don't know who bought it, but some very lucky owner. Remember, everything is relative. If you've got that money, it is going to make no difference.
Yeah, I see.
15, 20 years' time. Imagine when that car is seen and somebody says, 200 kilometers.
You know, I'd afford that car if I had whose salary?
Orchid Janssen van Rensburg, or Gideon Janssen van Rensburg, or Rainer Gottschalk, or Brenda Brajinath, or anyone on the Motus hierarchy.
Someone said I'd get.
I wish you could see, and again, we're going to talk about it. I wish you could see the real figures of what they're earning. It is distasteful, it's disgusting, and it's, I want to say, criminal. They earning for a few at the expense of many.
I always say, guys, I'm very open. I'm educated. I went to school. I graduated twice. If you need, I can always leave Michael, guys. Like, Michael will be strong. We'll run the podcast with the old man, Adam Ford. I can always be the new CEO of Motus.
And my comeback to that would be, CEOs typically are in their late 40s when appointed or early 50s. And unfortunately, he's revealed his age. He said half the age, half the wisdom. I think, well, he said 1/3 the wisdom. But I can tell you now, are you a betting man?
Yeah, well, I used to be. I don't bet anymore. Unless if I know that I'm going to win.
If I say to you, Orchid, Gideon, and the current board, end of the year, will they be in their position? No.
Okay.
Because a lot of noise is going to be made, and too many things that should not have been done are coming out the woodwork, and they've been covered up. And again, I've got so much to share with you.
I wanted to ask. I can't remember the radio station, but I'm sure you would. I listened to the interview with the CEO of Hyundai, Stanley Anderson. I think it's something CapeTalk. I can't remember.
CapeTalk 567, yeah?
Yeah, CapeTalk. So I remember the part that caught my attention there is the thing. I also don't know the guy that was the interviewer, the guy that was hosting.
I think Lester.
Very good guy. Like I don't know what you guys can search on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube, but we'll also put the links in the description box below. Guy asked a very important question. There's a question that he asked Stanley. He said, do your sales people notify the public?
I beg you, I'm not wanting to interrupt you.
Yeah.
The best part is the interview, he's talking about, and again, I want to give you context.
Okay.
He talks about how it meets all 53 of the South African regulatory standard, blah, blah, blah. It's on their website, etc. Like, he's talking about how transparent, how open they are, how in the open it is. Then share the question that he gets asked.
I think I'm paraphrasing, but I'm very close to what they're saying. He asked, when, like, if I'm going to buy the vehicle, do your Hyundai sales executives or sales person let the person buying know that their Hyundai Grand i10 has a 0 NCAP cap rating? And I think the answer, I'm also paraphrasing, the answer was, if you ask.
If they ask.
They'll let you know. And guys, when you're buying a car, you do not go and ask. Like, you don't ask. Like, even myself as a car reviewer, you get invited to launches by so many brands. I have never, out of the 5-6 years now that I've been doing this, all the launches I've been to, I'm so close to 100 launches now. There's not even once where I heard someone say, what's the global NCAP rating of the vehicle you're launching? It's never a question that's asked. So imagine if us as car reviewers, we don't ask that question. What, as a customer, going to ask? And I'm 100% sure all the journalists in the country, when those car was launched, we drove it. I had it on test, this car. I think it was a greenish one, but I had it in sedan form. So we were driving a car that is as a 0 NCAP rating, but it's something that even us that we deal with cars, we don't know. So why would like a normal person, people that don't know cars, know that? And also, why would you ask that question? It's a thing of
Correct.
So,
But think about it in context, and it's all about how you do it. So the simple situation is they've been exposed, they kept it quiet. They're now in the public spotlight. Now, Stanley Anderson, I say this to you personally. You've got a voice for radio and you've got a personality for a book. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So if you said the following, look, we are very, very disappointed with the rating. We've made our salespeople aware that anybody that comes in to buy this car is looking to buy a Grand i10 for a reason. It's within their budget. They like the look of the car, but it's imperative that we notify them that this vehicle has got a 0 global NCAP. We still believe, I'm not saying it's right, but we still believe it meets all the regulatory standards. Because we've told you, like cigarettes, we've warned you. But the stupid comment to say, if they ask. So hopefully they don't ask, because when they do ask, they're going to be told it's got 0. Silly.
I don't think a salesman would ever answer that question. I think that they'll deflect the question, because don't they get paid on commission or something like that? Like how many you sell and then you earn more, like the base salary. So it's, and before you guys say I have an agenda on Hyundai, well, I don't have an agenda. Someone has an agenda. Not me. But before you guys say as CHANGECARS have an agenda, the only reason we speak about this because it's literally the only car that's sold brand new.
Correct.
So we have to always speak about it. And we also, I think within the past week or the week before, there's another car that got into the spotlight in terms of the global NCAP rating. And before we tell you guys that car, it's a brand. So look at this episode. Watch how we spoke about this specific brand when we were speaking about bakkies and the engine. Watch our podcast before. Even some of you guys thought that we're actually sponsored by this brand because we're always speaking so good about them and the work that they do. So this brand is
Toyota. Sorry. I had to throw the joke.
I knew you were going to throw it in. So this brand is Toyota, the Toyota Corolla Cross. And if you watch our podcast and if you watch our Yawa episodes, you'll always hear myself and my co-host say
it.
The Toyota Corolla Cross is a very good vehicle. I'd recommend it. Even after hearing its rating, for me, it's still a vehicle that I would consider. Still, like it's, yes, the global rating took me by surprise because it received a 2-star for adults, and then
remember the base model. Only the base model.
Base model.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the base model.
Correct.
So this is the entry level. So it doesn't have all the ADAS features. So that received a 2-star global NCAP rating for adults and 3-star for children. So that's the base model. Obviously, the top of the range with all the ADAS system, obviously, would then receive a higher NCAP rating.
But
what are your thoughts of that?
Correct. But now you made a comment. I'd just like to go back to the agenda. 100%. I always say I have a very clear agenda. There's a difference between an agenda and a hidden agenda. Hidden agenda, you don't want to become public. My agenda is very, very clear. Motus, Hyundai, and all related entities, they need to get in line with what the client and the public need. Let's talk about this vehicle for one moment. Hyundai, the brand, in South Africa. They've got issues with the way they're treating their staff. Let Hyundai staff share with you how they literally walk to work or catch an Uber to work because they don't have company cars. Am I making this up? If I am, find out if you know somebody who works at Hyundai. Then, the cars that they are selling on their second-hand department. This is absolutely critical that we talk about this because we're going to share with you about Toyota and why it's so different with Toyota. I go to a Toyota used car floor, a Nissan, Mazda, Kia, Hyundai. Why am I buying from a franchise dealership, a used car?
Because you believe that you're not going to get scammed. It's a good vehicle.
We always talk about ABC Motors in Jewel Street in Kempton Park. Rubbish. They were buying accident damaged cars. Factually, on your screen in a minute or so, we'll show you who is buying accident damaged cars knowingly.
Well, because you told me and now I know. It's Hyundai.
Kia doing it as well?
Kia as well.
Kia, 100%. So very, very simple. Vehicle gets written off or uneconomical to repair by any insurance company. In this particular case, let's use Outsurance, and let's be crystal clear. Outsurance have got nothing to do with it. They've done nothing wrong.
So
They make it uneconomical to repair. Okay. Vehicle gets, written off, fit for scrap. The wrong dealer goes and buys that car. They sell it to a client. Client's not happy with the car. He brings it back. They buy it back. They sell it to another client. Long and short. Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Long and short. The vehicle in question was sold to a young lady, a mother of two.
Okay.
She felt her car was unsafe. She goes to Hyundai. They ignore her.
It was a Hyundai.
Yeah. Apologies. Hyundai dealership, her old car.
Oh, okay.
She goes, remember, second-hand car.
Second-hand car. So it's not
Correct. She goes to a friend of hers that she knows. He gets a history check on the vehicle. On the e-nator system, it shows crystal clearly who's who, starting at the bottom. Outsurance, rubbish garage, customer, rubbish garage, customer, rubbish garage. Then Hyundai South Africa buy it and sell it to Hyundai Trade and Park.
So, wait. So Hyundai South Africa bought the car from
a shady dealer.
the shady dealer.
100%. And sold it
to Hyundai
Trade and Park, who sold it to the customer in question. She showed them the printout.
Oh, yeah.
They're ignoring her. Again, I can tell you right now, it's been sorted out because the right people involved.
What's been sorted out?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because you
correct.
Sure.
Malcolm Cavey, Wendy Nola, myself.
Who's that?
Who's Malcolm Cavey from View for You?
Oh, Malcolm. Oh, yes, sorry.
Unbelievable. Malcolm.
And then you mentioned someone else now.
Wendy Nola.
Who's that?
Consumer journalist, 30 years in the industry, who's doing a job that I say, I take off the hat that I'm not wearing today.
Oh, okay.
Incredible. But the point is, how many things can a brand be guilty of? Mistreating their staff, selling the most unsafe car in South Africa, and
yeah, that's true.
And then let's go one step further.
Before you carry on, so that Hava, when you said it was sorted out, so the Hava went back to Hyundai.
Going back on Monday.
And then the lady's getting her money, right?
Correct.
Where's that car going to go now?
Well, we'll monitor it. And again, we're not giving the game away. We'll monitor it. That car is going one place, in my opinion. Scrapyard, and scrap that car. A car's had enough owners who've been mistreated. Scrap it. Hyundai South Africa, take the loss. Stanley Anderson, we know you're earning over 10 million rand a year.
Really?
Of course.
Ooh.
Public listed company.
There's
many positions available for you.
I think I chose the wrong place to work, eh? Like, Michael, I think we need to consider.
He also gets paid 10 something. Nicky, getting back, focus, buddy, focus. If I say to you, Hyundai, the way they treat their staff, Hyundai staff, share it publicly that you don't have cars, that you don't have transport, that if you don't make a certain amount of sales, which is unreasonable, you don't get a 1 rand commission. Hyundai Grand i10, like the cherry on top. Wait. No joking. The cherry on top is these vehicles that are being sold under Hyundai approved, financed by the bank, and they're getting away with it. Who is the official vehicle support or sponsor to the Springboks?
Hyundai.
Correct. Now, whatever your color in South Africa, male or female, are the Bokke loved?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You've got female rugby today. You've got every division. You've got school rugby. To South African Rugby Union, I beg you, I implore you, do the right thing. Walk away from this brand. Look at Suzuki. Okay, I don't say you have to go to Suzuki. I'm just using an example. Suzuki, Mazda, Toyota. Are these not absolute top brands that respect the public?
Yeah, because Suzuki is doing well. They're working with Orlando Pirates, the Proteas, male and female team. What else?
And often perceived to be working with CHANGECARS. Yeah, I love when you guys have comments. They say, how much is Suzuki paying you? And I say, and the prize for the stupid question of the day is
that
yours.
So Suzuki, then Toyota's working with
Chiefs.
Kaiser Chiefs. I'm sure they're working with other people as well. I just don't know. And then Chery. Do you know what Chery is working with?
Honestly, don't. And I promise you, we're not.
It's a soccer team. There's Kaiser Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, the third one.
The big boys. Sundowns.
Why you call them big boys? This is a good debate. Why you call them big boys?
who is the classiest club? So if you take in England, and a real thing now, Man United and Liverpool, without a shadow of doubt, are the two big boys and the most popular. But I don't think of Liverpool as this classy club. I think of Tottenham. I think of Chelsea. I definitely think of Arsenal as a classy club. When I think of Sundowns, and maybe because of Mr. Motsepe, I just think of them as having a different follower. Am I wrong?
Tight. And let me tell you why. Class, when you talk about class, Kaizer Chiefs, because of the name, the Glamour Boys. And when you go to where they train, it's called the Village. That's one of the best facilities ever. Like in South Africa, one of the best facilities in terms of training, everything. Even when teams come to play in South Africa,
they go there.
They go there. Like Ali went there. I think Barcelona as well. When they came to play against Sundowns, they went to the
And
Village.
where is it? At Soccer City?
No, Nazareth.
Oh, no. Okay, right.
Naturena, sorry. It's in Naturena sides. And then Pirates doesn't have like something like the Village. They have it train at like a Rand Stadium. And then Sundowns do have a place. It's called Chlorkop. It's just right here by Kailami, next to as you're going into
in the suburb of Chlorkop.
Yes, by Chlorkop.
Okay.
Yes. So they have right there Chlorkop. But it's not the classiest. Like they have a few fields and one big building in yellow, and then where the cars park, or the comments are gonna Sundowns fans, I'm sorry, but when the cars park, I know because I go there. I've been there. Where the cars park, it's not like it's, you see how where we parked, it's nice. There's parking. There's like it's not like that. Like it's grass, it's dust, and all that. So it's not the classiest in that aspect.
Interesting.
In that aspect, not the classiest compared to Kaizer Chiefs.
Fair enough.
But outside of Chlorkop, then Sundowns, yes, it's classy. They are bus that they have. It is a i6S, some very classy bus. They're the only team that has the latest edition. One of the few teams that have the latest edition of bus, and that bus is like 8 million rand. When they're flying to go play in Egypt, sometimes they don't fly commercial. Sometimes they get booked the Motsepe money, obviously booked like all play.
Interesting.
And then I know there's a time where they flew to go play, I think in Egypt, and then Bafana was playing in Tunisia or something like that. So the Bafana players that play for Sundowns flew from Egypt with the private jet straight to meet the Bafana team. Then everyone else flew commercial back to South Africa. So in that aspect, they're classy.
But who watching this doesn't dream? Now I know we often digress, but I've said it to you many, many times. That football was your calling. Am I right? To this day, are you sorry that you're doing the podcast and not flying business class to Egypt?
Not really. Sometimes I always think, I'm like, I'd have loved to be a soccer player, but I don't regret where I am right now. Because also what I'm doing, I have players that play I have friends that play for Sundowns, and when I go see them, and I'm always changing cars, they're always like, man, I wish I had your job. In my mind, I'm like, bruh, I wish I had yours.
So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I have zero natural talents. Nothing. I can't, what do you call it? Keep it up when you're doing. I couldn't do 3. When I was about 12 or 13, we used to play soccer, and I used to score own goals. That was and that was the only way I could score. And I used to get so excited. I couldn't understand why my team wasn't excited. But something that I digressed from, the Toyota Corolla Cross.
Yes.
Let's just start at the beginning. Last 2 months, global NCAP has become a thing only because you said you go to launches, nobody's talking about it. What has made it become a thing? Us to a degree, but it was a Hyundai i10 with zero.
Definitely.
Okay. I've called out before, and I'm going to do it again because there's context. Bobby Ramachwede from the AA.
Yeah.
You find me one interview on radio anywhere where Bobby has spoken about the Hyundai i10, the Grand i10. We're going to talk about the Corolla Cross. The Grand i10 is a much more, I want to say, popular car used by a wider range of people.
Yeah.
So students, as we said, the elderly, government departments. The Corolla Cross, slightly niche, so call it a more upmarket car. If you've got the right intentions and you only want to showcase one of the two as being unsafe, who are you going to target? The one that's more popular, used by a wider range of people, or focus on a niche product that's used by middle class, upper class people?
The one that's accessible to everyone else.
We've called on Bobby Ramachwede, without exaggerating, maybe 160 times in email, CC'd him in to call for the suspension of the Hyundai Grand i10.
Okay.
Not one word. Go watch him do an interview on KapeTalk where he's flown from Joburg to Cape Town, especially, and he offers the opinion that in his opinion, maybe the Toyota Corolla should be recalled. 100%.
That's not fair. You can't
course
recall a
not
car
fair.
that has stars compared to a car that doesn't have stars
So,
to start with.
everything they say, join the dots. Join the dots. If you're quiet about one thing, absolutely.
No.
If anybody disagrees with me about something, call me out. Say, hey, Mike, why don't you do this? And I will answer it. Now, let's go back to the Corolla.
Just a quick one. So with the Corolla, when was this interview? Because this Corolla statement came the past 2 weeks ago.
Correct. In the last 8 days on CapeTalk.
So you went and spoke about the Corolla Cross.
Spoke specifically about the Corolla Cross.
Being recalled.
Correct. Touched them minutely on the Grand i10 because the interviewer, Pippa Hudson, her name's Pippa Hudson, spoke about it. But find me one interview anywhere where you see Bobby Ramakwede from AA South Africa.
There's so much time because the
100%.
End of November last year.
Correct. Early December.
Early December. So you had the whole of December to fly to Cape Town to do an interview. You didn't do that. You had the whole of January.
Okay.
Record.
And go back 1 minute. I always say go back 1 minute. I said roughly 160 mails where I've CC'd Bobby in to the Hyundai hierarchy. Okay. What did the Hyundai hierarchy see? Here's a guy that we can approach to talk about another product and do what? Take the heat off us.
Yeah, because the heat did come, especially when that global came out for the Toyota Corolla Cross. The heat was on Toyota there for quite some time.
I'm open. Remember I said no hidden agenda, very clear agenda. I've always said I haven't got a problem with the problem. I've got a problem with how it's dealt with.
Yeah.
Hyundai were called on to make statements. They ignored it. Remember I told you, Mr. Russell Cantor, their brains trust
lawyer
of TWB attorneys, whose partner is on the Motus board.
Really?
Correct. Oh, yeah. I mean, no nepotism there or nothing to question there.
Okay.
100%. I asked them to make a statement. They're not going to. I always say, where am I going with this? Within 1 day of the global NCAP on the Toyota Corolla Cross coming out, did Toyota South Africa make a statement?
You say yes.
Within 1 day, I'll go one step further. And I saw the mail because people were CC'd in transparently. They CC'd the press. When I say the press, we are the press today to a degree because we're talking about this. Proactive, not reactive. If you would like to interview the VP of Toyota South Africa, if you'd like to interview marketing, promise you, on record, they said they volunteered it with pleasure. What does that say about Toyota South Africa?
They believe in their brand and they're saying, yes, we fail. I want to say fail. We got the result.
Surprised.
We got a result that we didn't expect.
Okay.
It's a bit of a disappointment, but you can still come and challenge us and we'll tell you.
Correct. Now, a PR company reached out to Stanley Anderson, invited him to a talk with Mr. Michael Pashut. They invited Mr. Michael Pashut to a talk with Mr. Stanley Anderson. I reply immediately, a definitive yes. I even say I don't need any questions. So if we do a talk, you don't need to give me any upfront questions because the answer is yeah or whatever it may be.
Ask me on the day here.
Do you think he said yes or no? No. You know the answer.
Said no.
Okay. So now let's talk about the Corolla Cross in depth. 2-star, it was for the entry-level model. Okay. The entry-level model has front and passenger airbag. Wow. It has side airbags.
Oh, really?
It has
That's cool.
knee airbags.
Really?
Knee airbags for the driver. Let's go one step further.
7 never.
Correct. So now what it doesn't have is curtain airbags. But it
has side airbags here.
Side airbags, correct.
So there's 5 airbags including the knee. Or it doesn't have curtain.
Correct.
Okay.
But it doesn't have curtain airbags.
Okay.
But the top of the range does. The test that was done just said they feel there could be potential damage in the event of a side impact because there's no head airbags. They didn't say there is. The structural rigidity of the car was strong. They did note that after the accident, they felt it could not take more loading. So it held up well, whereas the Hyundai crumpled like a sardine can. The Hyundai has got no side airbags.
It's 2, no? 1, 2.
1, 2, nothing else.
All the way up to the top of the range.
Yeah, no, the Hyundai's Grand i10's got, I think, one model, if I'm not mistaken, manual automatic and nothing. The Hyundai, does it have electronic brake distribution? Does it have ESP?
No, it doesn't have ESP. That
Correct.
doesn't have ESP.
So without going into great detail, sometimes they say prevention is better than cure. So how you score a car as well.
I've heard that.
Please God, 1,000,000 times. It doesn't happen to you. Your city golf. It's pouring with rain. You hit the brakes hard, Nicky.
Lock up.
Lock up. The chance of having the accident is real.
Yeah, it's great.
Go one step back. Car's got ABS brakes. It's got ESP. You can avoid that accident.
You can avoid it.
You're not going to worry how the shell stood up because the accident didn't happen. So again, Grand i10, the chances of preventing an accident are minimal. In an accident, the car will crumple like a sardine can and convert itself into a coffin.
That's very unsafe because I look at it like you just mentioned my car. I know when it's raining heavy with my car, I literally just slow down, drive as slow as possible and as safe as I can be because I know I don't have ABS and ESP. So I then now have to be like a driver for my car. And then when I hop out of my car and I drive into like the fancy cars that I get to drive because of work, sometimes I drive those cars like it's not raining. I know I don't like.
Correct.
I know I was thinking about a car that's like very expensive. But the Q7 I had towards the end of last year, it was pouring. But I was driving on the highway like
Normal.
it's dry.
Yeah, correct.
So you want a bit of that. You need people to trust your vehicle. I feel like when it's raining or it's not raining, if you're buying a car in 2026, you shouldn't fear that when it's raining, I change my driving style to suit. Yes, you do when it is raining, you need to be a bit more careful on the road, but it doesn't mean that you must change it drastically. So
correct.
very
You just be more cautious.
Yeah, more cautious.
But I often use the term, let's use a real world example. Last year, it was the day that Dricus du Plessis fought. He won the fight. I remember doing a little video there. Okay. But it was February as well last year, Campfest.
Yes, Campfest.
What car did I go in?
Your Caravella, the white one.
2001 VW Caravelle 2.3i.
Yeah.
Okay. Got power steering.
Yeah.
Got manual windows.
I know you always.
And it's got aircon. ABS brakes?
No.
No ABS brakes.
Okay.
Again, real world example. We're about 50 Ks past Pretoria, so somewhere between Pretoria and Warmbars. Starts raining.
Hammanskraal.
Exactly, at Hammanskraal. That was it. Starts raining. Okay. I just decide, instead of doing 120, I'm going to go down to 90. But the point is, I said to my partner next to me, I'm going to hit the brakes not aggressively, but I want to see what it's like. 110, 120 to 90. Do you think it locked up or didn't lock up if I touched it aggressively?
It locked up.
Instant.
Yeah.
The moment it locks up, it doesn't lock up. Anybody who drives an old car, when it locks up, it doesn't lock up like that in a straight line. It locks up to the right or locks up to the left.
Yeah, it's one side.
And no matter what you're doing, there's no steering control.
Yeah, this doesn't matter.
Doesn't correct. So without sounding like a broken record, prevention is better than cure. Getting back to the Corolla. Curtain airbags are coming. Toyota said factually, even before the results came out, they were already talking about curtain airbags for across the board. Oh, wow. Would I recommend a Toyota Corolla Cross today? 100% I would. And I'm going to put Stanley Anderson to the test.
Okay.
Hyundai Grand i10. You say it meets all 53 criteria.
That should be his car. Work car.
I'm going to do better.
Okay.
I've got a couple of hundred of these, I'm sure, sitting idly by now.
Yeah, because people are buying Suzuki.
25 Ks an hour. 25 Ks an hour. I will go in that car with you. I'm not joking now. I swear to God, it's a genuine challenge. Okay. I'll wear a helmet only because I don't want to be hit by the airbag. I don't need that powder. You know it's going to hit you.
Yeah.
25 kilometers an hour. We crash two head on into each other. Okay. Do you think you wouldn't do it?
No. Ask the question.
I challenge you, Stanley Anderson. Not a publicity stunt. I am saying, with a helmet on, at 25 Ks an hour, two vehicles coming to us. You can drive in case you think I'm going to speed up. Trust me, I wouldn't do 26 because I'll be, okay? 25 Ks an hour, I want to hit each other. If he says yes, perfect. I'll then challenge anyone from Toyota South Africa to do the exact same, and I guarantee they will. We're then going to take it one step further. The test is done at 56 Ks an hour or 64 Ks an hour, depending whether global or Euro.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's double the speed. Double the speed doesn't mean double the force. It means like 3 times the force. If you come with me at 25 kilometers an hour and you see the damage to that Grand i10, it's if you'll do it at 40 k's an hour. So that's still 2/3 of the speed they crash to that. Do you think he will or won't?
That's my answer. No. That's what, no.
So do me a favor.
Yeah.
If the invite comes from me, he doesn't want to buy at my place, ask him.
I should do that.
You do the asking on camera.
Okay. Well, Stanley Anderson. I don't call you Stan. It's a bit disrespectful.
Call him Stan the man.
Stanley Anderson. You heard Michael Pashut. He asked you to do a crash test of
25 kilometers an hour.
25 kilometers an hour. And then, yeah, let's see. Let's see what will going to happen. I'm also challenging you. If this happens, I will stop the podcast. I will stop doing the podcast.
Okay.
And you know why I'm saying that?
Because you know it's not going to happen. You love the podcast.
I know it's not going to happen.
But we always say, if you want somebody else to believe in your product, believe in your own product.
Yeah.
Again, no arrogance. You go onto the ChangeCARS website. My telephone number, available.
Yeah.
Go to Google, put in Michael Pashut. My number's available. No one is above scrutiny. Practice what you preach. So again, you've heard it from him, but I'd just like to send you a formal invite. We go to any facility. We can go to a racetrack. We can go to Geratech. 2 vehicles, 25 kilometers an hour, head on. Then we can also take another one to right off, side on, into the driver with you in the driver's seat. If you really believe in it, and then he'll come back and say, oh, no, I can't, this, that, there. Open invitation.
You asked me if I'm a betting man. Let's bet, you and I. If he does do this, I'll give you 10,000 rand. If he doesn't do it, you give me 10,000 rand.
If he does do it, I'm that confident that we will do a sponsored Golf 7.5. Okay? Check Nicky's phony Stanley. I've got stop laughing, but I'm talking to camera. Hi, Stan. I've got a personal favor to ask of you. Do it for me. And I'll always talk about Hyundai Grand i10. Me and Bobby will be on your team. The AA and half of the ChangeCARS podcast. And I know we're joking and we're making it. Do you honestly, jokes aside, do you believe you'll do it? I guarantee you won't.
I don't.
But I say to you, hand on the book, hand on a lie detector test. 25 kilometers an hour, as long as I can wear a helmet, just to protect me from the airbag explosion. At 25, I'm confident. Anything more than that, won't do it. I want to see you be confident.
You know why I'm so confident that he won't do it? Because I'm also confident in, if you're to ask him for the Grand i10 to be his, what do you call these cars that you get from work?
Company car.
To be his company car for the next 3 months. He wouldn't do that. And that is not as, well, it is more dangerous actually. But so, I'm that confident that he wouldn't do that. So
sometimes there's crowd power. On the screen right now, you'll see 2 phone numbers. You can WhatsApp me and say, Mike, do you accept the challenge? I do. Stanley's number is also on screen right now. Ask Stan if he accepts the challenge. If you are a Hyundai Grand i10 owner, think about this. Stanley has reassured you through his colleague Max Germani.
Who's that?
He's PA, PR, just a spin doctor.
Someone that works for him.
Yeah. Okay. He's spin doctor.
Max
Germani. Germani.
Lekker.
No, Italian guy. Italian guy.
Nice.
Funny enough, positive that as a youngster growing up in Bulgaria, that we used to have family friends called the Germanis. There can't be too many. So 30, 40 years ago, we were friends. Now we're on the other side. But I want you to email Max Germani. His email address is on the screen right now. And WhatsApp Stan, open invite. And if Stan is prepared to write off a good few cars, not joking, start at 15 kilometers an hour. Say, guys, we're putting our lives in danger. Stan, are you in or you're out? I'm out because my safety is more important to me. This is not a publicity stunt. Would Jeremy Clarkson do this?
Yes.
Sokia.
Yes.
Put your money where your mouth is.
It's crazy. They would definitely do it.
Doesn't have to be a brand new car. As long as it's the latest spec. What I'm saying, it can be an older car. It can have some mileage. We don't have to write off brand new cars. I'm very, very excited. So remember, email and WhatsApp. After the break, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we need to speak about the Motus and the employees and a lot after the break to speak about. So don't go anywhere. You can see it's heated. It's still going to get even more heated.
Looking at buying a brand new car? Visit changecars.co.za. and click on the Beat My Quote tab, because we will beat your quote.
So, Mike, you came up with something very interesting in the first part of the show. We spoke about the Motus Operandi. And I know this is probably one of your crazy terms that you always want to claim and whatnot. So what made you think of Motus Operandi, besides the fact that Motus is in your head 24/7?
If you talk about legal jargon or Roman speak, I mean, all of these sayings come from a time in the past. So the term modus operandi is a specific way of doing something. So you could say the Vodacom modus operandi is this. They go after clients, they want to give them specials, bring them on board, well done.
What is the CHANGECARS? CHANGECARS modus operandi.
Always think of the customer, always do it right. And I mean it, I'm proud of that. We are here only for the client.
Yeah.
So I got a reach out from a gentleman, his name is Tyrone. He phoned on the landline and it was on overflow. So pure coincidence, I took the call. I said, please forgive me, I'm just on another call. Can I call you back? I called him back, paid a lovely compliment. He said, exactly what you say on the show, that you'll engage with the public. He said, so remember, it's not my saying. He said, I'd like to give you a saying called the Motus Operandi. And in this particular context, it's not a compliment, because we've got tens and tens of dealerships that do it right. In a daily routine, I do not get a single, not joking, not a single complaint about the other big boys. It's always about Hyundai, about Kia, about Renault, somewhere between Renault and Hyundai. It's about Renault. It's about Midas. It's always about them. Okay, so that's why I call it the Motus Operandi. They do things so unique, dirt road over tar road.
So what are people complaining about with Midas?
So Midas franchises are essentially, so Midas, the group, is owned by Motus. Okay, the way they're treating their franchisees, Motus is not making money, they claim. Their overseas operations are making money, but their local operations, according to them, are not making money.
Okay.
So when everything local is not making money, stop blaming the people. It's management. Okay? Quickly, pop quiz. If you get it, you can get a Golf 7.5R little box model.
Oh, wow.
What is Orchid Jansen's van Rensburg salary? Because some people might not have heard it. You might want to repeat it.
35 million rand a year.
Sick, man. It's sick. It's not sick if the company was doing well and looking after the staff, and people were equally doing well. It's sick when this man is able to go out and buy whatever car he wants, take delivery at a Motus dealership, take photos, show off, and his staff are not able to pay for it.
So what's the latest with regards to the Motus stuff? I know you had said Motus had given them a take it or leave it thing, where
take it or leave it,
accept the salary cut or face possible retrenchment. And I think they're not supposed to go to court, or what's the latest with regards to that?
It gets a little bit more sinister here, and I'm glad you asked about that. So today, Friday, MISA lost a court application. Now they lost a court application, and I ask myself why. Because again, we often say, no, in agenda and agenda. MISA is a union that is supporting the motor staff. Have we done publicly a lot to help the cause, in your opinion?
To help the cause?
Yeah, for the staff. Have we made their claims valid? Have we made their claims well known to the motoring public?
Yeah.
Average
Yes.
So now I reach out to MISA, and the lady's name is Nicky. I reach out Nicky, T-I-E-K-I-E.
Okay.
On your screen right now, you'll see her telephone number and a reply to me. I reach out to her saying, I would like to help. As you know, it is my feeling that it should never have got here. Motus did not have a starting point. They were given a starting point. They were allowed to pursue the staff. Would you imagine they'd write back, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr. Pashut. We would value your input. We can see what you're doing publicly, putting it out there. Together, we can beat Motus. Remember, you're either on their side or you're on the staff side. You can't be both. What do you think she said?
Well, I've known you long enough. The fact that you're asking, I think she didn't respond.
So I spoke about on your screen right now. You'll see her telephone number. You'll see her response to me. I do not need to reply, save to acknowledge the email. I then write back to her and say, this response is unfathomable. I cannot beat you alone. I'm the coach of Liverpool. Alex Ferguson comes and says, guys, you know how much I don't want Arsenal to win the league. I want to help you. I don't want £1 for it. What would you say to Alex Ferguson?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You're not going to tell him, excuse me, mind your own business.
Your business.
Okay.
So, because if that was to happen, that means Arsenal came to me and said, hey, don't listen to anyone else. I want you to help me to win the league, so lose your games.
Thank you.
So that's what's going on here around.
So please look at Tiki's reply to the staff. Mr. Pashut is not here to help you. Don't listen to him. Listen to us, the people that allowed Motus to walk over you, the people that lost a court application today. So as of today, Friday the 6th, Motus can do what they like with the staff. They can force them, they can bully them, they can do anything they like. Now, has MISA, simple answer, failed their members? Yes or no?
Yes. Because this is the exact same way it was before this whole court thing. So whatever happened from the court thing was basically useless now.
Exactly.
It didn't change anything.
Correct. So let's look at it from a Motus staff point of view. I've been working for a company 35 years. If they retrench me, it's a hell of a lot of money that they've got to pay me. They've got to pay me 1 week's wages for each year worked.
Really?
1 week's wages for each year worked. So say my wages is 10,000 Rand a week. I'm earning just over 40,000 Rand a month. They've got to pay me 350,000 Rand. So now that's a lot of money. So I don't want to retrench Nicky, because if I retrench Nicky and another couple of hundred like him, I'm paying big bucks.
Oh, so when you retrench someone, you need to pay them out, basically.
Absolutely.
Or you can't just...
You can't just say, sorry, but you retrenched, your next paycheck is your final paycheck.
So when you retrench me, I'm going to get money.
Let me make a promise. If there's one thing I'm never concerned about, is one, having to pay him retrenchment, and number two, this fine young man leaving.
Unless if I get the Motor CEO
No,
position,
listen,
because
if you get the Motor CEO position, it will help me get onto the board. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But you got to pay out 35 weeks times their weekly wage. So think about this. You've got people working for them for 25, 30, 35 years. So in other words, 25, 30, 35. If I say to you, Nicky, let's find a compromise. Take a 5%, take a 10%, take a 15% salary cut, and everybody can keep their job. Pulling the wool over your eyes.
Yeah, because I don't have to pay you out.
That's where I'm going. So we do this together. We're in this together as a team. But just remember, only the peasants are taking a salary cut, not the hierarchy.
Not hierarchy.
And you'll understand why I said peasants, because I'm going to come to an example of King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. Now, I sign it. After 3-4 months, I see that with about 10, 15, 20% salary cut that I've agreed to. I've agreed to it. I've signed for it. I can't make it. What do?
Oh, quit.
I quit. And when I quit, how much do you owe me?
Nothing, because I quit.
Correct. So again, the modus operandi. You get the union to agree, to get the members to sign. On your screen right now, you'll see the message from MISA. Sign it, but say signing under protest. Okay? But I've signed it. After 2 weeks, 1 month, whatever, I say, I can't take this company anymore. I'm out of here. The retrenchment package that I would have got for 5, 10, 30 years.
Out of the way.
Tell me that's not shocking.
Okay. So basically, because MISA is the union, right? Because they failed the Motus employees.
Correct.
What the Motus employees should do now is say, not accept the cut, say, I'd rather face retrenchment, because then they are forced. Then
you are
forced to pay out.
Correct. So
I'd rather do that. It's easier like that.
100%.
Get
This is a game of poker. The only problem here is you've got a dealer who's playing for the opponent. Can tell you right now, go back. I always say go back. There's always context. I reach out to MISA after all we've done on the show. MISA should say you are our best ally to get the public, to get the shareholders, to get everybody to listen. They give you 2 middle fingers. Why? Because they want Motus to win. Absolutely. Now, MISA don't just represent Motus employees. They represent employees across the motor industry.
Okay.
So what happens later, should this ever happen at another group? Should this happen at OEMs? Okay. All I'm saying to you is read the message on your screen again and tell me if that is the message of a person that wants victory for the members or is wanting
I'm
a
guessing
victory.
Lisa, there's like a body, like a hierarchy within the, like obviously there's the tiki lady, obviously there's to be other people in and around her.
Correct.
So if Motus is bribing, let's just say Lisa, for example, right? Are they then bribing the hierarchy of Mesa or just one person alone? Because it becomes confusing if you bribe one person, because out of the other five say no, but we don't stand with what you're saying.
Of course. So let me say this. What I will never do is make an allegation specifically saying that they're bribing. But what I will do is I'll stand by the allegation, read what was on the screen, and just apply common sense. Michael is fighting for the staff. Misa, in theory, is fighting for the staff.
Yeah.
When Michael reaches out to Misa as a shareholder, as somebody who's got a mandate from the staff and offers your assistance, why would you not say, we welcome it, come join us for a meeting, come share with us any ideas that we might not have thought of? When they tell you, voetsek, okay,
Yeah.
what's the Afrikaans word about the millies? I'll think of it. You know it. When they tell you that, have they shown what their agenda is? Crystal clear. So to the motor staff, all I'm saying to you again and again, fight for your rights. We've created a platform where you can share your story. Bullies can only bully you if they are allowed to bully you. And sad but true, the victim often empowers the bully. It is my firm belief, and I'm not saying that you've done something wrong, but I'm saying you haven't been forceful enough. Fight for your rights, share your story. I gave you an example of King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette.
And I don't know who those people are. I'm too young for that.
And swiftly, were you not alive in 1789?
No, were you?
Adam, you were close, I'm joking. But on a serious note, so something called the French Revolution.
Okay.
You
I
had
know
King
that.
Louis XVI in this castle, in this palace, living like royalty. You can imagine chefs and cooks and people running bath water for them and looking after them. And the advisor to the king came and said, the peasants, and it's not being rude because that's what the French, they were called peasants, are starving. And Marie Antoinette replied with a now famous saying, let them eat cake. Now, let them eat cake. Think about the context. They only trying to put food on the table. Food on the table could have been bread, could have been a little bit of meat, could have been a fish, whatever the case is. They sitting in their palace, eating the best of the best, and they can afford it. So why do I mention this? Orchid, you earn 35 million rand.
The best of the best.
You have got no scam to go into a Motus dealership and buy a vehicle, a top-of-the-range vehicle, a wind-in-your-hair type vehicle for a family member. No questions asked, and you are happy to let that be out there while you telling your staff, we're in this together. Eh?
And that's a beautiful, expensive car. Eh?
It is a beautiful, expensive car. I want to say to you, it is so ill thought out, so lacking in morals.
Yeah, timing as well. Like, there's this saying that, well, a lot of people use it. I even use it with my friends. I'm like, guys, there's nothing wrong with eating, right? But eat and wipe your mouth. Don't eat and leave the crumbs, yeah. That's like what it's doing. Like, timing. Like I can't be saying I'm going through a lot and then I go buy a car that's 3 million rand.
So in life, there's two intellectual characteristics that we know. IQ is your intelligence of history. And again, we're joking, but you're a young man. I'm older. The French Revolution. Your IQ is based on your desire to learn.
Yeah.
But your EQ is based on your ability to read the room. I'm sitting here, I'm chatting to some first-year students who are just building up a credit score. Do you go talk to them about your holiday home, about your boats, about your quad bikes, about everything? If you're a wealthy person, you don't. What you talk to them about is what I said. I remember 35 years ago when I was your age. Let me tell you guys, it's going to be tough to start, But
Once you get good.
do it like this. You motivate them. That's
Yeah, yeah.
EQ. You talk about that.
Yeah.
If you're a wealthy person, again, not trying to be, don't wear a watch. Don't show off. That is EQ, reading the room.
Literally.
And I always say, let's go back. Gideon, Orchid, Rainer Gotchik, Brenda Bajinath. All of your telephone numbers are on the screen right now. Not one rand have you taken as a salary cut. You are the cause of the problem. You're the cause of the problem. Bad decisions you've made, bad decision that is costing the company money, and others have got to take a knock. One last thing I want to say. We always talk about shareholders. You get majority shareholders. Did you see what I put on the thing about asking people to buy shares?
Yeah, people asked where.
So whether you own one share or whether you own 10,000 shares, you are still a shareholder and you're allowed to be present at any Motus meeting. If you buy a car from a Motus dealership and you have a problem, go buy a share. One share.
How much is one share?
130 odd rand, a little bit less.
Really?
Petty cash.
So if I buy one share, at the next AGM, I'll be there.
If you own one share in Motus, you have a right to be at the AGM.
So you get invited to that.
You don't get invited, you get notified of the date, and you just are welcome to arrive. Okay? I made a joke. I said the next AGM will be at Soccer City. So, Nicky, whether you own one share or whether you own 10,000 or 10 million shares, you can come to the meeting. But let's look at the real big shareholders in Motus, the people that have got a voice that should be shouting from the rooftops. PIC, they own 20%. That's a public investment corporation.
So it's government.
It's government. And to me today, government is not just ANC, it's South African government. Whether, doesn't matter what political party you are. So whether it's a DA, the EFF, Umkhonto we Sizwe, whatever, you guys have got a voice. Job creation is the target.
Yeah.
And now we've got job elimination. They own 20%. M&G, 10%. Fairtree Capital, just under 10%. And then the Coronation Fund. I'm not calling you out to be rude. I'm calling you out to say you've got a voice. On your watch, is it acceptable for you, for people in their 50s with 30 years service, to be suffering angst just so you can get a little bit bigger dividends? No. The solution is easy. Gideon, Brenda, Orchid, Rainer, cut your salaries by a few million rand. Leave you plenty. You don't need the whole cake. You share your cake with the peasants.
Yeah.
And remember, I'm not calling the staff peasants, but you effectively are saying they are. Remember, cargo, I call them precious cargo. Share your big piece of cake with them and you still have cake. So I hope they're listening, but we've got one big challenge. If the staff and these investors don't speak out, who's going to win?
If the staff.
If nobody speaks up.
Motus is going to win. Oh.
Now, the beautiful thing for me, I can't win or lose. I'm not a Motus staff member.
Yeah.
I'm a Motus shareholder. So it's not a case of Mike won or Mike lost. All it is for me is, staff, I want you to be empowered. I want you to win. Even if Motus carry on with this, they've got a big bloody nose. The name Motus a year ago, people used to say, oh, we knew Imperial, but we didn't know Motus. We've done more for Motus marketing than Motus marketing team could ever do. But it is my wish, and I'm open about this, that what did Nelson Mandela say? If the ANC government ever does to you what the National Party government do to you, do to the ANC government what you did to the National Party. It is my sincere wish that the public vote from a Toyota dealership to a Ford dealership. There's not one single dealership that Motus have countrywide that competitors don't have. One day, Toyota, Ford, the big brands say, do Motus deserve our dealerships? They compete with us through Hyundai. They compete with us through Kia, Mitsubishi, Renault, and Tata.
Yeah.
You know what? They want to be bullies. Maybe it's time that they got bullied a little bit.
Yeah, we did a lot of marketing for Motus. Like, I think a lot of people now know Motus because of us. So if that's not enough to put me in the board of members for Motus, then I don't know what it is, guys. Like, I don't know what it is.
So I was asked by a couple of staff and by shareholders, but again, small shareholders, to say, I would like to serve on the board of Motus. a board member gets around 1.5 to 2 million rand a year. Remember, everybody at the top at Motus earns big money.
There's a million.
1.5 to 2 million rand a year to serve on the board. How much does Michael Pashut want?
Zero.
No, close?
Oh, that was
Double zero. And again,
I have an idea. He can serve for free, but the salary can go into my account.
Nicky is one-track minded. I love it.
Gotta stay focused. Gotta stay focused, guys. That Golf R is not gonna buy itself.
So there's two challenges, again, to end off on Motus. There's two challenges. Stanley Anderson, head of Hyundai, a Motus division, take me up on that challenge. And just to make sure that everybody who wants to, Stanley's details are on screen right now again. And to the Motus board, your chairman, Mr. Njeke, you get the Camouflage of the Year award because you are so absent that it's almost like you're not around anymore. I would like to serve at the Motus board. One goal, to serve the shareholders, to serve the staff, to serve the suppliers, transparently and ethically. Why would you not take me up on that offer if you've got the best intentions of everybody at hand and you want nothing for it? Only one reason you won't take me up on it.
Because they don't have the best intentions. That's the reason.
That's exactly it. The power is in your hand. Go buy shares and say, we want Michael Pashut on the board.
So before we go for our last break, remember to buy those shares because I'm going to buy those shares literally. Okay, I'm going to first have fun at Campfest. When I come back, I'm going to buy those shares so I can be at the AGM, which is going to be at FNB Stadium at Soccer City in Soweto this year. Watch the space.
Need advice? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Ask Mikey tab.
So we're at the last part of the show, so that means we're wrapping it up. So we've spoken enough, guys. My mind is going crazy. We've spoken enough. And I just keep thinking about the 35 million rand a year. But enough about that.
Spell the word Motus. See if you can spell it.
MOTUS 35. Oh, sorry, the 35 is the 35 million.
Nicky's password is going to be Motus 35.
So we're coming to the end of the podcast, but there's some interesting news, and this is something that we spoke about, I think, very early when we were doing the podcast. The Nissan factory. Remember, we had spoken about Nissan is definitely going to leave the country. What's going to happen to the factory that they have over there? So you're going to enlighten the people what's going on at the factory.
So I often say you don't have to be a fortune teller to see the obvious.
Yeah.
Nissan producing in South Africa only the Navara. Navara is a top bakkie, but we spoke at the top of the show about Ranger, Hilux. It's not competing there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have said, Michael, is it safe to buy a Nissan with them leaving the country? In my opinion, Nissan is not leaving the country. Nissan is exiting as a manufacturer. Today in the news, did you see VW is under a lot of scrutiny? There's talk that VW will possibly be closing their factory here.
Yeah, there was a question asked as well during the week, but they're not really saying they're going to leave. They still have, they still do believe that the factory will still be there.
Martina BNA, I've often said that they say humans are evolved from monkeys. I say you are evolved from an ostrich because ostriches keep their head in the sand. She'll keep quiet about this. Won't say a word. I think VW are in a lot of trouble in this country. I really, really do.
Okay.
And the trouble is going to continue to grow. It's the quality of the products. It's their pricing. It's their high theft risk. Too many things are against it. Labor costs, apparently they're saying at VW are unsustainable. So a lot of challenges. But Nissan in particular, is it good or bad, in your opinion, that Nissan is leaving as a manufacturer?
Good, because they weren't doing anything. Well, bad, no, good. I'm saying good because the jobs will still be there.
The
the
jobs
factory,
will be here.
and I'm thinking that Chery will have more vehicles to produce.
And sorry to interrupt you, I'm talking specifically for the Nissan brand.
Oh, it's bad.
You think it's bad?
For the Nissan brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then the Navaras need to come from.
Okay, so interesting. It's always a perspective. And it's one of us is going to be proved wrong. You have a belief. I think it's a very, very best thing for Nissan to close that factory. Okay, let's go back to the brand I detest. Hyundai, doing well in South Africa.
Yeah.
They bring in cars. Kia, bringing cars. Hyundai, Honda, bringing cars. Suzuki, bringing cars. Mazda, bringing cars. Ford, Toyota, Isuzu, and VW manufacture. Now, Some brands can do well manufacturing and being in the country. Mercedes,
Okay.
okay? Mercedes, I can tell you right now, nowhere.
And the
Nissan
manufacturer.
have got 4 products in South Africa. We've said it before. The Patrol, that sells nothing.
Qashqai.
No, Qashqai is gone.
Oh yeah, they stopped it. Yes, you're right. Qashqai.
X-Trail, new, minimal.
That's worse.
Magnite, the Renault Magnite.
It's just their volumes.
Okay, I'll call it the Renault Magnite.
That's their volumes.
And the Navara.
What
Now,
about the Triber?
the Nissan Triber.
Oh, it's Reynolds. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay.
If you
Yes,
look
yeah.
overseas, go look at the incredible cars that Nissan have got available
Overseas.
to them.
Yeah.
Very simple. Nissan, remodel, reshape. Sit down with your dealer network and say, not in a rude way, because this is a strategy. Who can we compete with? Not who do we go after. What have we got overseas that can compete properly with Suzuki,
Yeah.
with Hyundai, with Kia? What have we got overseas in a 4-door sedan? Remember like stuff like the Nissan Almera, the Nissan Primera,
Primera.
okay? What has happened to that type of car?
Why is that orange one? It was launched in orange. It's not as along size-wise. It's big.
I know.
It's not a Pathfinder.
I know exactly.
But it was orange.
Murano.
Yes, that as well.
Okay.
Where's
The
that?
Nissan Murano had the best engine, that Nissan 350Z engine that they used was award-winning. So again, not going in circles.
Yeah.
Nissan in South Africa, we're not doing the volumes. Why do you want to run a factory? Now, don't say disrespectfully to staff. Managing a factory is intense. A brand like Chery that's going to do hundreds and now thousands of cars, they can justify that.
Yeah.
I think for the country, very, very good. To Chery South Africa, well done for stepping up. And you remember about 2, 3, maybe 4 episodes ago, I asked for every manufacturer to please reach out to us and give us a contact person for them.
Okay.
I've often said we do not have any complaints about a Moda, about JQ. The few odd ones about Chery, Jatua, even though it's part of the Chery family, completely separate. And Campbell, your usual shout out. Hats off to you, my good man. Chery, got a couple of little small nuances. I reach out to a dealer that I've got an exceptional relationship with. I said, who do I speak to? He said, you get a hold of Hans. Get a hold of Hans. Within 5 minutes, Hans doesn't reply to my WhatsApp. He doesn't email me.
He calls you.
Hey, Mike, looking forward to engaging with you. You get the impression, takes the podcast seriously. Okay? Super, super easy. So to Chery, Amoda, and JQ, may you go from strength to strength. I do believe the Chery factory in South Africa is going to be an absolute game changer. And the beautiful thing for Chery is they'll be able to produce cars here possibly cheaper. Remember, they pay 25% import duty. Now, in the right way, it's a free-for-all. May the best man, may the best team win. So again, to Hans and the team and to Chery South Africa, thank you for taking over the Nissan factory. Nissan, my loyalty to you as a brand will always be there. I just hope that you can really raise your game to another level.
So just before we end,
We never end, Nicky.
So I start the podcast, and then Michael came up with this thing a couple of episodes ago. Tip of the week. So what do you have for the people this week?
So I'm having a lot of fun with Adam Ford in doing our workshop podcast. And I say it again, always respectfully, horses for courses. I'm good. I know my stuff. Adam is stratospheric. I'm like the pupil. You take what is perceived to be the most reliable, trustworthy brand in South Africa. If I say to you,
Toyota.
100%. What is their service interval, Nicky?
10,000 Ks.
What is the interval on a Nissan, on a Ford?
15.
Okay. So however you look at it, 50% more. My view is 10,000 is absolutely ideal, but the absolute maximum. So again, ideal because you can't go service your car every 4,000 or 5,000 kilos. It's just not possible. Okay. If your service interval, specifically only for oil now, don't worry about plugs, don't worry about air filters, that will be done at the normal service. 10,000 kilometers, you spend 1,500 Rand on that oil, changing it with quality synthetic oil. Okay. In real terms, what are you doing to that car?
Keeping it fresh. Keeping it good.
So tip of the week, doesn't matter what your manufacturer says, under motor plan, under service plan, ideally do it at the garage. In other words, if it's a VW,
Yeah.
go to VW. If it's a Toyota, not Toyota, obviously, but if it's an Isuzu, go to Isuzu.
Yeah.
10,000 kilometers, fresh oil, and it's just mental as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever, your car, when you've just washed it and it just serviced it, in fact, don't even worry about the service. You've just washed it. Does your car go better or not?
Yeah, it does.
You cannot make it up.
Yeah.
It just goes better. When that windscreen's clean,
yeah.
absolutely. I know sometimes I'm driving back from Kruger Park and a lot of mickeys on the windscreen, and you stop off at one of the garages, get out, go wash your face, wash your hands, have some water, and the kind gentlemen have washed your windscreen, your back windscreen, cleaned your light.
Feels fresh.
The car goes better. So that is a tip of the week. And then one more request.
Okay.
Questions. What do you think a week now we are getting? No
idea.
BS. No BS.
No idea.
Okay. Not less than 600 a week.
Okay.
One kind request. In fact, not a kind request, a kind demand. Please don't send me Cluedo, and please don't send me a question without a contact number. So, hi, Mike. I bought my car from a well-known garage, and I'm not getting great service from them. What should I do? What is your answer to that question? Don't know what you bought. Don't know where you bought it. Don't know where you're located. Don't know if I've got a contact with them. Say, hi, Mike. I bought my car from ABC Toyota, and they're dropping the ball. I'm not finding I'm getting their normal Toyota service. My number's so-and-so. Easy. Tell me who you're dealing with. Oh, I know him. Hold on a second. I'm going to get him on the line right now. Martin, I've got Johan on the line. Talk to me. What's wrong? Yeah. Sorry, Mike. We've dropped a board.
Yeah.
Easy. Give us information we can work with. So, tip of the week came 2 tips of the week.
Tips of the week, literally.
When is the next episode?
Next week, when I come back from Campfest. That's when the next episode is, guys. So we do appreciate you guys always liking, commenting, and following us on all our pages, subscribing on YouTube, following on Instagram, following on Facebook, following on TikTok. I think we're on above 160 now on TikTok.
161,000 followers on TikTok, 115,000 followers this weekend on Facebook. Sometimes we go up like 1,000 a day. And the reason I always say we mention it, the podcast without
them,
this is the people who put the podcast together.
Without you guys, we wouldn't be the podcast. So thank you guys for always watching. We are gonna head out. Well, I'm gonna head out because I need to go to Campfest. He's gonna go back and sit behind his table and take more of your questions and more of your phone calls. But as always, I'm Nicky Nash. That's my corporate shirt, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Keep It or Change Cars, the podcast you can relate to.